Hey guys, it's Rush. BattleOfGlory.com lets you earn real-life money with their World of Tanks tournaments. If you'd like the chance to earn prizes upwards of 250 euros by playing World of Tanks, sign up with the referral link down in the description. Alright, so for today's video I'm going to be talking about XVM and why I don't use XVM. This is a question that is asked pretty much all the time of me, and it's like, hey Lemming Rush, which mods do you use? Why don't you run XVM, etc., etc.? Or, why don't you run XYZ mod? And the answer to, which mods I run, etc., etc., are I only use the illegal mods. So, any sort of mod that is on a banned list, like an official banned list of Wargaming on their website, I have in my Reds mods folder. This is absolutely 100% serious. I would never lie about such a thing. And if you just want to look at my mods list, just go find a banned mods list and install everything on there, because that's what I have. Now, the real answer to this question, as most of you will have guessed, I'm joking, is that I don't run mods, and I don't think they're needed. Now, I'm going to focus on XVM specifically, because most of the other mods don't really matter. XVM is probably one of the biggest ones that affects, like, users and their mindset and how they go about playing World of Tanks, because it does. When you look at your stats at the beginning of every game, you're reminded that this game will either increase or decrease your overall win rate. And people who care about stats, that really affects the results. So what I have found now, yeah, I'm not going to shoot this guy, am I? What I've found when I play this game is just that it really messes with my gameplay. It also makes me an asshole, but according to the comments, I already am one. But what I have found is that XVM literally reminds me how this game, how important it is to my overall stats, because I look at my stats. Naturally, the stats that you have are never high enough, and you say, okay, well, I need to do well this game, because I'm not purple enough. Or to some guy it might be they have 100 win 8, they have 500 games, and they say, okay, well, this game has a huge impact on my overall win 8. As a result, I need to do double my overall win 8, and that's huge, right? Double is huge. So I don't run XVM because of that. If you've ever tried doing missions, you'll notice the exact same thing. The second you start to care about your performance, your performance drops. And I think that's really true for me especially. And that's why I don't run it primarily, because my performance drops. Secondly, what I'll find is that if I have a teammate who I notice is playing badly and his stats are terrible, I am often going to... I'm prone to insulting him or getting mad at him in chat, and that's just, the way I am. So I don't run XVM because it makes, it promotes elitism from me in my experience. So that's another reason. I also notice that I trust purple players too much when I run it. So these are all personal things, but they probably apply to you, and that's why I'm going, obviously none of this is tried and tested, but in my experience, XVM makes me trust purple players a lot more than I should. And that's just the way it is. I always value purple players more than I value myself, so when I see one, I'm often likely to go die for them. And I shouldn't be doing that, because I'm way higher than purple, right, according to the XVM numbers. So it changes my playstyle. Now, you could say, hey Lemming Rush, why don't you run XVM for your YouTube channel? You can show everyone how good you are. The reason I don't do that isn't because it doesn't work for me. It's more because I don't want to promote the mod. I think the toxicity behind it is extremely high. You'll never, compared to other mods, right? XVM makes people way more toxic, and as a result, it's not as great in my opinion. I don't want to promote that mod. So that's the main reason I don't run it. I mean, I know streamers who do, and that's totally his choice, but I don't really feel the need to, show off my 3,500 win 8 every single time I play. I don't. So, I mean, I could, maybe for an advertising, it might help my credibility or whatever. I just don't think it's worth it. I totally get why someone would. I totally understand it, especially for a YouTuber whose livelihood sort of results on them being a good player and knowing what they're talking about. But for me, it's just, I don't want to promote this shitty mod that makes people, including myself, toxic. And I also think it's self-destructive, because like I said, when you go into a game, you remember how much, how important your stats are. and it sort of increases the pressure. It also means you have to trust, like you might over trust your teammates or under trust them based on what their stats are. And I think that is just the absolute wrong way to go about doing things. If you want to figure out what a player's worth is, look at their position. If you want to understand whether or not you should be helping that player, is regardless of their stats, it should be, is this position valuable? So if you look at, for example, on this map, if you see, like, let's pretend you've decided that E1 is extremely valuable, and you've got one player there, he's on, full HP, and he's against two tanks who are also full HP. Your question should be not, what is his win 8? It should be, how valuable is E1 to me? Is it worth risking myself to go win that position? And if the answer is yes, you go and help that guy, regardless of what his stats are, because that position is important. A red player in a purple's position will become like a blue player, right? Because maybe the red player can't aim or whatever, but invariably a purple player in a red player's position is like red, slightly above red, just because they can aim well, right? So the game's about positioning. You want to judge a player's value not by what some retarded mod says. You want to judge it by their position. So again, if I had decided E1 was worth it, I don't really care what what my teammates' stats are. It just matters that they're fighting for that important position, and as a result, I should help. So in this map, I guess I can use a real life example. The cap circle is relevant, right? And so is the zero line, because if you push the zero line, you get a lot of map control. So you can fight for either one. It doesn't matter how many purple players go to E4, right? That naturally is going to dictate the flow of this game. So given that we have no one there, the question is it, oh fuck, I'm bad at driving. The question is it worth me risking myself? And the answer is no. I've got a minute and a half to reset in the worst case scenario. I'm okay to risk that time frame to go and play where my teammates are, because like I said, the zero line is relatively valuable. So I have two options, and I'm going to where my teammates are because it's less risky. But none of my decision-making process in any video that I've ever made has seriously considered the stats of my teammates. And I'm going to try to use this replay as an example. So, you can see I'm in the far back. That's because I'm in a light tank. And given the team comp, you can see we're all in the middle right now. And so what's happened here is something interesting. It's a low tier game, right? So that's why I chose it, because they're easy. But what's happened is we've pushed the tracks, which is really, really rare. Am I spotted? Holy shit, this is easy. But I could take advantage of that if I want to. I don't see, okay, we've had a Churchill 3, and he's purple, and he's pushed the tracks, and he might die here. And that's my decision making for helping him. It would be like, okay, his position's valuable, let's go help him, right? I need that position to win the game. Now here, I'm way more effective, right? You can just watch. I'm going to be extremely effective from here, and that's because there's tanks here, I can shoot at them, etc., etc. As a result, I'm focusing my efforts to here. And now that we've won this side, this game's turning out to be maybe a raffle stomp. I can just keep being aggressive, but you don't need XVM to make good decisions, right? This is a 4K win 8, 5K win 8 game, probably 5K, 500 with the amount of kills. Never once did I say, I'm gonna play K0 because I've got a purple player over there and he needs help. No, I went to K0 because I saw they were pushing the zero line and I took advantage of that. This is what I mean. So, yeah, I think it demonstrates my point. You can see my result. Nowhere, not once did I say I'll play XYZ because good players are there. You can see I just played important positions that, fuck, that's a Hetzer, worked out for me. Regardless, we might lose this actually, but, regardless, 1388 damage isn't bad. Clearly I don't play low tiers enough. I'm not used to Hetzers. I actually didn't know what their alpha was, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hope this video was instructive. My main points are you don't need XVM to do well. It's worthless in... Holy shit, that thing's overpowered. It's worthless. In making decisions, you should never base your decision off of what a player's stats are, because even given his stats, it's really unpredictable what they'll do, in my experience anyways. Secondly, you should be playing positions that will work well. So in this game, I played K0. That worked well for me. And then I saw an advantage over here, and that worked out for me. So you want to try to focus your decision-making process on what will work for me, and not where is the super unicum. That's just my opinion. Or, you know, where is the best player on your team? But that's just my opinion. So, never really made a video like this. It's just been me talking. This is actually a bit like a live stream where I'm just sort of talking about something. But, you know, I hope the video was informative. I don't know if I demonstrated my points clearly or supported them clearly. Maybe I'll make a more structured video on this topic. But, you know, hopefully my talking is good enough, because I prefer these types of videos. They're more relaxed. So, yeah, I hope this video is helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.